So hopefully with a little practice you'll have memorized the multiplying and dividing integer and rational number rules. So I've written them in the corner to help you. Whenever you have different signs, your answer is going to be negative. So a positive divided by or multiplied times a negative equals negative. A positive, time out. Same signs, so if you multiply and divide by same signs, it turns out positive. So a positive divided by a positive equals a positive. A negative times a negative equals a positive. So if you just remember same signs are positive, different signs are negative, you'll be good to go. So let's look at a couple examples. So these are fairly easy. 4 times 3 we know is 12, but a negative times a positive is a negative. Negative times a negative should be a positive. 2 times 2 is 4. A negative times a positive, we know the answer is going to be negative because they have different signs. And with fractions, I just multiply across. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 4 is 8. So my answer would be negative 3/8. Down here, a negative times a negative. We know that answer is going to be positive. So 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 4 is 16. So you're sticking to the same rules of how to multiply fractions. You're just noting that a negative times a positive is a negative, and same signs end up positive. So now let's look at a couple dividing examples. So you guys know that you don't divide fractions. What you end up doing is multiplying by the reciprocal. So here you would have 1/2 multiplied by the reciprocal, which would be 8 over 3, because I just flipped that upside down. Look that I kept my negative number. So 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. A negative times a positive is a negative. Down here, negative 6 over 7 divided by negative 1/2. Again, I don't divide fractions. So I turn that into a multiplication problem and flip this back number. But make sure that I keep my negative sign. 6 times 2 is going to be 12. 7 times 1 is 7. A negative times a negative is a positive, so I'm done. Really, I can make that into a mixed number, but for today's example, we're going to leave it at that. Down here, we've got a positive 1/4 divided by a positive 1/2. So I'm going to switch that division sign to a multiplication sign and flip that 1/2 to its reciprocal. 1 times 4 is 2. 4 times 1 is 4. Again, these can be simplified, guys, but for the sake of this lesson, I'm not going to do it because I want you to really get the rules. 16 divided by negative 4. Another way of writing that could be like this. A positive divided by a negative. Well, those have different signs, so I know that it's going to be negative 4.